I'm gonna mute my mic while we go live. Okay, we're connected. Let me just pull up the YouTube on here. Okay. Peace from the Tonya 23 experience. Tonight, we have our beautiful panel. Everyone will introduce themselves. But first, our topic tonight is what you see at the ticker at the bottom, Black love. What is the state of our love? Do we love one another? And by that, I mean the state of our relationships. When you look abroad, Black love is there, but it seems like it's a lot of undecisiveness in some of the relationships that I've life coached and, talking to people and whatnot. And, it just seems that, that's what brought up this topic to me. And so I want to see us closer. I know we love one another, but we're going to talk about this because there's something going on. And tonight we have our beautiful panel that is going to give, their opinion and whatnot. And feel free to put your comments in the chat. We will definitely address them and acknowledge anyone in the chat. So let's get started. How do y'all feel? Is Black love? What is the state of it to y'all on your journey?
Well, I guess I should start. Hello, my government name is Yvette, but I go by Mama Earth, and I embrace Mama Earth. What Black love to me is healing has to happen first. We can't love properly over top of inner wounds. So there has to be a healing taking place first for you to be able to truly love. Love is more than a word, it's an action. And how can you be active if you're weighted by your trauma? If you're weighted by past pain? If you're weighted by depression? If you're weighted by thoughts of suicide? So if you're weighted by those things, it holds you down where you cannot freely love. Now, we say we love one another, but do we truly love to understand one another? Do we truly love when we don't take the time to listen to one another? So that's my opinion on Black love. We have to heal first in order to truly love.
Yeah, so we have healing that needs to take place. Feel free, anyone, to chime in.
My name is Yahya Muhammad.
Unless y'all want me to control the panel.
Can you hear me?
Peace.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes. I can hear you, yeah.
I mean, the two words itself is the word black and love. Now, we know that black is the essence of all colors. But love, they say God is love.
God is love.
So if we dealing with relationships with male and female, it was something that started from the beginning. Because no life is started without black. But black is the essence of all color, and God is love. So, when God, who we say is He, right? He seen something in Himself, and He shared Himself, which was the woman. That's why it's called womb man. And when he separated himself and seen a second self, he created a woman. He said that the two becomes one. So the struggle comes with him sharing himself and us finding ourselves, because no man is a true man without a woman, right? My teacher, the Most Honorable Muhammad, he says it like this. He said, "There's no such thing as a no good woman. If it's a no good woman, it's a no good man who made her that way." So the essence of love is God. And so without God in the center of it, then it's no love. Because love is an action word. I can't tell you that I love you, and we're suffering in a relationship, and we don't make a sacrifice to be one. This is why God shed himself. And the only way that we can get back to that oneness, that when he created man and woman, right? Because they come from the essence. I don't know. Do y'all hear the echo, or can you all hear me?
Yeah, it's an echo.
It's an echo?
Yeah, I do.
How about
Yeah,
now?
we hear the echo.
Okay.
We could still hear you. Maybe if
Daryl,
I don't know if
Brother Mo,
we
in the
all
same room. That's probably why.
mute our mics, that might be.
Can you hear me now?
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
there's no echo now.
Okay.
Yeah, that's much better.
Okay. I misplaced
Yeah,
the thought.
that's
Where did
great.
I leave off? Okay.
You were talking about
All
love
right.
being an action word.
Yeah, love is being an action word. And that action is that when we are created to have differences, but within that differences, we have to have the remembrance of that oneness, that essence of which we come from. Without that, there is no relationship. And when we spoke about, I heard the sisters say that we was talking about lost relationships. The relationships is being lost because we lost the knowledge of self. And once we return back into the knowledge of self in a state of consciousness, then we'll be one with each other. So that's just my humble opinion about love, and that's the thing that we as a people that we struggle with in the Black community, because the divorce rate in marriage now is like 50%. Most people don't even want their oneness because they don't want struggle. But what is life without struggle? Two things in life you can't escape is struggle and death. But what type of death and what type of struggle? But a mental death, when you lose the knowledge of self. And this is why we have the problem in the Black community, because we don't know self. We don't know self. We disrespect self because we don't know what to expect from self. Myself living in Africa, I live in the Gambia. I'm back and forth from America to the Gambia. Here's a people who have that lives in poverty, don't have anything. So it's not about resource. It's not about finance. It's about the lack of knowledge of self. And it's a thing in that community is polygamy. You would think, well, you got all these different, they working together. And then they don't use currency, they use energy. See, once the enemy came and used currency, it's all been about money. The exchange is what you can do for me, not the energy that I can receive from you, or the knowledge I can get from you, or the understanding I can get from you. And that's the thing that I've seen, and I'm sitting there witness to see our people like, wow, they living in huts, but the happiness that they have is the knowledge of self. When the enemy came, he stripped us from the knowledge of self, the knowledge of God, right? And he took our language from us. And this is why we are more of a suffering people than any other people, and that's why relationships doesn't work. We got to go back to the roots of knowledge of self. But with that knowledge of self, had to come understanding. And it's understanding her, because the Black man is destroyed and the Black woman is damaged. And this is by design by the white man. I'm going to keep it crack black and exact. It was by design. And until we get back into that and get into knowing self, heard someone speak about Kemet. Uh, that's a very deep subject that God's willing would like to get into because it's really deep. And I know some Kushites. I've been to Kemet. It means the land of the black because if Africa's the motherland, then that's the fatherland because that's where civilization starts. So and they understand that, but because we lost that lost legacy. It's like Cat Williams said it like this right here. He said the other side know who we are. There you go, sister. That's the key. That's the key to life. That's the key to life right there. That's the womb. That's the so-called cross. But in the center of it, you got struggle.
Yes.
You have struggle because something is
union,
vertical and horizontal. One is dead, one is alive, and in the center it represents struggle. But that's the womb. Once you come out of the womb, you're going to struggle. Like I said, two things in life you can't escape is struggle and death. So after you come out of the womb, here's come something vertical is what? It's up. It's living. It's up. It's horizontal. It's laying down. So it's a struggle within self. We was created to struggle. But to get to know self is to know the God within self. That self-accusing spirit, the voice of God within. Once we master that, then we can master relationship. It's a struggle. It was made to struggle. That's why God, he's seen a second self in himself and he brought forth a woman. That's why we call God he. One of the mistakes that I learned in Africa that they spoke about that we use the goddess. She's a god. God doesn't need a partner. She is a god. She's the first act of creation because God is he. She is a god. She is a god. All life comes out of the womb of the black woman. Brown, red, yellow, even the Caucasian. Everything has been grafted from us, but they took history and they put it in reverse. And everything that we are taught is in reverse. And that's why our life is in reverse. We deviate. We got to the point in the state of black community, we walk past each other, we won't even speak. If you ask the person how they doing, like, nigga, what is wrong with you? And it's sad because in Africa, you can't go down the street without speaking to someone, peace. If you don't, you change your whole family, the whole village is on you. And that's what we got to get. We got to start back by being brothers and being sisters. Not calling your white brother and sister, because we ain't no incest, but being brothers and sisters. What I want for my brother, I want for myself. What I want for my sister. And that's how I first start. And then we can build into that relationship because without that, we're not going to have a relationship. And that's why we in the state that we are in. And that's everybody struggle with that. I don't care who it is. And we lose patience with one another. As soon as we have a difficulty in a problem, a difficulty in a relationship, we run. Because it's a thing that we forgot how to communicate. The only way to have an understanding, you got to have a misunderstanding. So you got to have that understood, but problem solving, when you see a problem, go and sit down and speak on that situation. Don't be passive aggressive about it. But like I said, it goes back into losing the knowledge of self. Now, I don't want to take over the conversation, but that's a very deep conversation. And it's a book that if you get a chance, it's called Real Love. And it's a real deep book. If you get a chance, put that book up. It's like the Bible of, I had the book 7, 8 times. As soon as I let someone read it, they keep it. It's called Real Love. And this book is deep. And it's deep because it speaks about the seasons of love. Because love has a season. Because we have to have a weather station within self. When you first meet someone, it's hot, and you're happy, you're smiling, and it's sunny. And then guess what? Here comes what? Spring. You still sprung, but it's still hot. And then here comes what? Here comes fall. He's like, that's what I can see this Negro. You see the leaves fall down, you can see into the forest. And here comes winter. Winter, everything is dead. But it's a cycle of life. And if you don't repeat that cycle, then you die. And that's why we never really experience real love, because real love is forever. Anything else is infatuation. So if someone asks me, have you ever been in love? I say no, because real love is forever. That's what your grandparents had. That's why when one died, the other one died, because the two is one. Mom, I don't want to live no more. Your grandfather's done. Because that's the oneness. That's why they show in the cage of a book, the cage of two lovebirds. Because if you separate one, the other one would die. And that's the same nature that we have.
Mm-hmm.
But we, like I said, us being having a loss of legacy, they play on that through subliminal messages and subliminal suggestions. That's why the book said, guard yourself against evil. Sisters and brothers, stop looking at that foolishness, because what goes in got to come out. We regurgitate, that stuff that we see on these reality shows. We want to live it. And we call ourselves conscious, but you got to guard yourself against evil. You have to understand, this enemy has this thing.
Yeah,
he
absolutely
understands the laws of cause and effect. Well, I'm going to let you go on that, and thank you. I didn't mean to be so long-winded, and thank you for listening.
Absolutely. Thank you for your contribution. Absolutely. I agree.
Yes,
Who we
sir.
have next?
My name is
Please.
Shantae, and I believe that I don't know if I all the way agree with we were born to struggle. I think that those raised in love and those raised in struggle, um, life shows up a little different, you know. And I believe that the more that I wake up to loving myself and learning how to love myself, the more that I'm able to love someone else. Because when I love myself, I'm able to allow things like pride and ego to die, And someone once told me, though, she said, don't humble yourself into low self-esteem. And I think sometimes we think that as women and the roles, we get all of these mixed messages of who we're supposed to be, um, as what society says. Are we supposed to be meek? Are we supposed to be humble? Are we supposed to be strong? Are we supposed to be proud? And as a Black woman, we deal with way more than any other race, any other culture, any other species. And we're there's just so many stereotypes on who we are. And sometimes I feel like it can intimidate the average Black man. And what I mean by average is we have all of these false narratives of what it means to be a Black man, what it means to be a provider, what it means, like, are you supposed to be gun toting? Are you, does that mean safety and protection? Like, all of these stereotypes and false narratives that our culture and our society has been fed from the media and our government. I think that our government is to blame for Black love and the state of our love being what it is. Because back during the civil rights era, the two-parent Black family, I grew up, my grandmother is Puerto Rican and Black, and my grandfather is American Indian and Black. And they left Detroit during the race riots, and they had 10 children, two parents, 10 children. My father's parents, my grandmother was a stay-at-home mom, and both of them Black, and they had 8 children. And they took their children from Cincinnati, Ohio, and from Detroit during the race riots, and they bought land out in the country, and they raised their kids. And my grandfathers were best friends. And so on both sides of my family, like, I can go back about at least 7 generations of pretty much just Black people. So as me, that I would never have to be a white man's whore. And my Puerto Rican and Black grandmother told me there's 2 things that's guaranteed in this life, and only 2 things. And what those two things are is that I'll stay Black and that I'll die one day. So those three lessons is I never have to be a white mentor. I'm always be Black, and at some point I'm gonna die. That let me know that there's never a reason for me to date a white man. So I've never dated a white man. Now, have I had white friends where I've gone to dinner and stuff like that? But clearly, no interest in dating a white man. And they know where I stand in that position. Never dated an Asian man. And in my family, I'm one of the few who have it. But I just don't understand why with we're at least 7 generations of Black, where I can trace the lineage back to at least 7 generations of 2-parent households with Black people. And my cousins bring home these little scraggly ass white boys, and I don't understand it. And it pisses me off, because it's like our elders worked, they sacrificed so that we can build and reproduce and have generations of little Black babies. And they just, it don't make sense to me. But it's like I don't know. I feel like during the civil rights era, the 2-parent Black household was the most powerful thing. Like there's data and information. You can go to Google Scholar and look up different policies. And when they created Section 8, one of the things about Section 8 was it really didn't allow for the Black man to be in a household. So that's when you started having a separation of the Black families. It was like, do you want housing or do you want a husband? So for a lot of Black males made the sacrifice of their wives and their children or their girlfriends and their kids to have housing, to have cheese, to have food, because we were going through a recession back then too. So they made the sacrifice of them having the day-to-day needs. And that's what started the civil rights movement, started the separation of the 2-parent Black household, which was deemed to be the most powerful thing on the planet back then. And so when it comes to the state of Black love, this is by design. And in each administration, Obama administration stood for a lot of the LGBTQIA rights and laws and legislation to be passed. So if we whore out all of our women and if we turn out all of our men, because the Bush administration, where the Bush family owned the most privatized prisons between Ted Turner, who controlled the airwaves, Ted Turner, until the 90s, Clinton's administration, Black people, the Telecommunications Act, Black people couldn't even purchase into the media system. So all of our media has been force fed to us of what we're supposed to think, how we're supposed to act, what we're supposed to look like. And, this is all by design. And so, I'm not going to go too far in it, but the state of Black love or lack of Black love, how we view ourselves, how we love ourselves, how we nurture ourselves, what I think of the sister with the chocolate skin and the dreadlocks and how she views me as being a red bone, how we view ourselves, body images, a size 0 compared to a size 20, all of that is by design. And our idea of a white man's standard of beauty as opposed to the Black man's standard of beauty, it's all by design. And that impacts our self-love, which impacts our Black love, because that impacts how we love on our brothers and how they love on us. So with that, I'll pass.
Thank you, sis. That was deep. Yeah, you touched on a lot of great points there.
Yes, you sure did.
We have
Excellent.
Next, we got Paula. Brother Sankofa.
Yeah. My name is Cola, and you guys have said a lot.
Yeah,
So
Brother Moore.
I'm gonna just say what, just something. Keep it kind of short. It just I agree with the ego thing, and just also I'm not gonna go as far as this, on a broad level because I'm in a relationship with one person, not like everybody. So I expect, as an adult, and we know better, we do better. So for me, it's self-awareness, accountability, and compassion, something that we lack. And it's just almost like we could blame this and that, and it's true. All of those things are true, but when as thinking people and feeling people, the ones that are, we in a different age now. We have to we can't be making excuses. If we want to be together, we'll do what it takes to be together and make it work. And if not, I want peace. That's what I want. So as within, so without. So it's definitely an individual thing first. I agree with Sister Shantae on the healing part. It's hard to really get with somebody else when you're broken yourselves because you're going to trigger each other, which is why we argue most of the time. We don't even know each other's triggers. Something that you're getting out may actually be hurting someone else, and you don't even realize what you're saying. And once we get angry, we don't even care. It just is no respect, it just go to other ways where it could become physical or other things. But and that's hard to say. I'm not gonna say we just so profound that we all should have self-awareness, but kinda that's where I'm at with it, So we gotta get, they can watch TikTok and all that all day. They got videos and people like me and some of you guys that's doing the work. So we just need to maybe give people resources instead of having these splits with the manosphere versus the woman's sphere and all of this other stuff going on. There's too much blaming the other person. I mean, we know what was done, but how long are we gonna let that be the reason? You know what I'm saying? The same with like the pants hanging off the boys' butts and all of that stuff. They talk about girls and the way they dress, but how long do I have to look at butt crack and date men and date down in order to be with a man? I don't think that's right. Up in the era that Brother Tashaka and them came from, people had more pride in themselves. They took pride in the way they look, in the way they carry themselves. So in different demographics, you may go through different things. So you may suffer from some sort of arrested development. But at this point in 2024, we don't either move together or we not. And I don't date white people or none of that either. If I can't find a black man, I'll just date myself, But that's pretty much, what I have on that. We need healing. I have compassion for both the black man and the black woman and the black child. It has to be subjected to our madness, because that creates that generational energy that we keep passing down. So I just hope that we could just say, you know what, we all been bitten by the same dog. Let's just, put it all on the table and see what we can do. We want it bad enough we can, but we have to quit blaming. That's what I think one of the biggest, things are. And that's pretty much all I have on that. Thank you.
Yes, that was compact. Absolutely. I agree with you. The Sister Cola said. Absolutely. Let's see who we got next. Brother Sankofa and Brother Moore. Either one of y'all.
Go ahead, Gerald. Unless this camera's frozen.
Mm-hmm.
Your camera frozen again?
Nothing being said.
We can hear you, man. Go ahead and speak.
I think I can hear you. You good? Oh, you can't hear us? He can't hear us?
Apparently not.
I think he's saying he can't hear us. Yeah, it must be on his end. Gotta be on his end. It says he's on mute, so
Hey,
it won't let me unmute him. I'm showing it says he's on mute, but he won't let me do it. Brother Ya, can you help him get off mute? Yeah, he has to do it on his end. It will not let me do it. In the meantime, Brother Tashaka.
I agree with everything everyone has spoken on thus far. Um, Everyone has good points. Everyone has the particular vibration and energy to contribute to the planet.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but when we mention the term struggle, you know, by us being trained, like Shantae was talking about, everything being related to economics and resources and finances. That's the first thing we think when we hear the term struggle, that it's economic or financial. No, struggle comes in all forms, you know, and as people of like minds and people that have a certain level, I don't like to even say conscious, people that have a certain level of self understanding has to do and implement more wrestling with their inner selves more than most people who are under assimilation. And so it's a real deep and a grueling task in terms of conquering and having control over some of the things that that internally are destructive to our beings. And so um, the love piece, you know, we've been damaged so much that, you know, now we have to try to find a way to find self-love. And that's just a result of what's been done to the, like Shantae was saying, like the 7 or 8 generations, you know, and we can't overlook that because we're the residue of so many hundreds of years of turmoil and self-degrading situations and deplorable conditions and horrific events that have taken place with our ancestors that, you know, we're dealing with the residue of that because those people lived through us. It's been passed down through us. And just what is called what they call generational curses and things of that nature, which we cannot overlook that. You know, we cannot overlook that. However, once you are connected and once you tap into your God itself, and you understand what has taken place through our ancestral bloodline and our lineage, then, like Sister Cole was saying, then it's time to begin to start putting in work. Because a lot of people, you know, can read books, you can be so profound, you can talk so eloquently and so intellectually, but you can be tore up from the floor up internally. And it's based on actually, because I like to use layman's terms. I'm not into the Harvard speaking diction and dialogue. When we look at, you know, the damage that has been created, this is what causes this division. And it's not that we hate one another, it's that we hate ourselves. It's that we hate ourselves. And we've been trained and taught to this very minute to hate ourselves and mistrust ourselves and have distrust and have light skin and dark skin and all sorts of all of these different mental and spiritual you know, derailments, which prevents us from actually tapping into our God itself. And once again, you can read books, you can do all of that. But if you actually haven't tapped into that, because there's no way and there's nothing that can cope and cover up what's really going in your energy and your being. And so what makes us brilliant people is our perseverance. And that we're still standing after 400 or 500 years of physical chattel slavery and the assassination and lynching and executions of our prominent leaders that are doing the work that we're doing today, taking these life-risking challenges for the benefit of not only us, but future generations. And so You know, the self-love has to be implemented because it's like um energy. Like Sister Cole be talking about that energy. When you come into a room and people can tell, they may not understand, they may not be able to tap into it or figure out who you are and what you are, but they know that energy is radiant, is vibrant, it carries a great amount of illumination and a reflection towards other people because the first five people, the five closest people to you, you put yourself in the middle. That's exactly who you are. And so looking within is the most important part. Looking within, wrestling your lower selves, having a high level of discipline, having a regiment of being prompt, having a regiment of being honest, having a regiment of being able to look brothers and sisters in the eye, having a regiment of speaking, having a regiment of communication, having a regiment of love towards each other as well as the opposite, our goddesses, like you all beautiful queens that are on this channel, with no strings attached, without any type of interior or hidden motives, to allow one another to just magnify our divine energy and become the supreme beings that we really are, without doubt or contradiction. And so when we, this, once again, this show here is documented history. It's documented history. The effect and the impact may not take its full course until 2 generations from now. But if we set the tone, if we plant the seeds, like brother Yah was talking about the seasons, if we plant the seeds now, because those who came before us done the same thing. When you look back on Garvey, Elijah Muhammad, they planted the seeds, and we're the manifestation of that today. We're walking in some great footsteps and energies of some great divine people, but you also have to look at yourself as being divine, because we've been taught we're the opposite. We've been taught that we're desolate, sullen, everything, every term of black has a negative connotation to it. We've bought into taking currency, like Brother Yah was saying, taking currency. Our women are stripping, that's a whole nother subject, of battered and abuse and all of that stuff that led to that. The men have been trained, to dumb down their masculinity, to be over submissive, to not stand up. All this is learned behavior through years and centuries and decades and decades and decades of various holocausts, illnesses, mass incarceration, child and sex trafficking. We actually have to have given the divine task of battling all these demons, not mentioning the ones that we have to battle within ourselves on a daily and consistent basis. Because we all may come on here and be so intellectual, but off the camera, you got to go into a whole different energy and frequency just to survive out here because of the infectious self-hate that exists in our communities, that exists within our family structure, our family dynamics, and it's extremely painful. It's extremely grueling. A lot of people like yourselves and myself that are truly committed and want to see change. You're dealing with sleep apnea, restless nights, having to, feeling like the gerbil on the wheel every day, and it feels like nothing is changing. You're not going nowhere. This is part of the journey. And I've seen a lot of people within the last 22 years since we've been in existence the Street Law Soldiers organization been in existence, we've seen a lot of people fall off because when like they say, when the going gets tough, the tough gets going. Because we can talk tough, but when it's time to get going, we get tough lists, you know, and they come and go. They come and go. They talk so profound and they got all this rigor and all this energy till the true fight comes. Till the true fight comes. And so, you know, we got to stand in our own greatness first. We got to walk in our own greatness first. Because it's not going to ever end with all us holding no hands on no mountain, you know, rocking, singing the theme song, the We Are the World. That shit is never going to happen. We need to be clear about that. We need to understand that. And that goes back to the beginning of civilization. Because we had ancestors that was totally out of order back then, and they got dealt with or they got cut off or exiled. And they dealt with those who were willing to commune in the village as families. And so this is what we're doing today. You know, I have a vested interest in each and every one of you on this show. I have a personal relationship, and I deal with each and every one of you. I dialogue with you individually based on your energy, based on your vibration, based on who you are. And our job as a small unit working underground, that we have to support each other and be straight up with and honest with one another, so we can move towards. Because all of us on this show are going in the same direction. All of us. Everybody has a divine gift. Everybody on here has a divine gift. This is power, and unfortunately, a lot of people under assimilation would rather watch football than to find out who they really are. And sometimes that can be frightening too, because a lot of people don't want to see who they really are for fear of what they may find out. And so taking a fearless approach into this journey that they call life, but it's really just a transformation, because we come from we were somewhere else first when we got here, and we're going somewhere else after we leave here. And, you know, and we've been trained that, you know, we're going to go on the ground and you're going to go up in the sky and they're going to have two white boys with chicken wings flying over you, you know, and you're going to have this white nightgown on. You know, this is the shit that they put in our heads that our people buy. Our people, and we buy it every day. We buy it every day. And this is one of the reasons why we're so in mass hysteria. So
that is so true.
I deal with people.
Oh,
go ahead, Gerald.
This is Gerald Moore. I'm sorry, I'm having technical difficulties, but I truly enjoyed everybody. I didn't hear much of Shaka's, but I heard everyone else's. And I would say, when we're talking about relationships, and I mean, I'm not going to say that I'm authoritative on relationships. I'm not, but I can say this: we as a family unit, because at one period of time in history, we saw what love and unity was all about, especially with our elders, and because I seen it with my mother and father, and I seen it with grandmothers and grandfathers. But the design was to tear down the Black family, which they were successful at, because now we can't even connect with one another. And it's not because we can't communicate with each other, because as you all said, we all running around, we reading books, we taking in knowledge, we have techniques, we have everything, but we don't apply that to each other. Our general aspect is to see what we can gain from a relationship and what we can, instead of what we can contribute. And contributing to the relationship is helping the woman to understand the man and the man to understand the woman. That's what That's what Brother Yob was talking about when he was talking about the struggle. We all gonna have struggle. We're gonna have fights. We're gonna have disagreements. That don't tear down the family. You tear down the family when you figure that you're running away from a struggle. I think our struggle is to understand one another. I can understand the femininity of a woman. I can't be a woman, but I can understand her because the fact of the matter is God did make sure that we had X and Y chromosomes. As he said also with the woman providing all the ethnic groups because of the I don't want to get it wrong, but mitochondria that the woman carries. She gives each group the opportunity to be here, whether it's white, black, Chinese, or whatever have you. They came from a black woman. Everything existed from black. But the only thing we don't want to do is recognize black. Black is a unity within itself. The thing we have to understand to be able to be comfortable with each other is to talk to one another, is to communicate. That's the line to everything. But then we got to take our emotions out of it because we get too emote, and especially if we find things that we don't want to hear, we don't agree with. But if we're not optimistic about things, quite naturally, we're gonna go into a shell, and before we know, we done dissipated that friendship or that relationship before it even got started. So if we're gonna commence to be able to do the things that we need to bring the family back together, let's just listen to one another. And I go from there. Thank y'all for listening to it.
Yeah.
Thank you, Brother Moore. Thank you.
Can I say something briefly before I close?
Sure.
When it comes to the black woman, it's nothing. It's nothing. It is nothing. I don't give a damn what it is. Ain't nothing like no black woman.
Certainly is.
Y'all look better. Y'all look good. Y'all smell good. Y'all taste good. I ain't never tasted no other colors. I never got down like that. You know, I don't need to. You don't have to give me the taste test. Y'all already passed that. Y'all beautiful beings. And if I was to die tonight and wake up and be somewhere where it's all men, y'all done fucked up. Somebody messed up the paperwork. Y'all got to send me where some feminine energy is. You know, to bring that. Y'all bring everything to the planet. Everybody emulates y'all. We're the strength. But everybody want to dance like y'all. Everybody want to wear locks. Everybody want full lips. Everybody want to act like y'all. Everybody want to do everything like y'all. And they can't. And y'all can never, ever be duplicated. You know, never be duplicated. So, you know, and it's a shame that a lot of these strong sisters have to wait for a true man to come through. You know, and that's what I was saying on my last live, that the bite has been taken out a lot of the black men. This is what I say, they dialogue and they talk real profound and all that, but when it really gets down, you know, like Brother Yah was talking about, when it's time to intertwine and accept that journey with that particular individual and walk through fire with that individual, that is innate in us. That's how we were built. We were built like that. We were built to do this. We were designed like that, but as a result of so many atrocities that have taken place within our minds and on our hearts and our souls and our spirits, and that we've been sold out. Some of us sell ourselves out, and you know, and a lot of them be turned out. Like Shantae was saying, you know, it's a shame. You know, sometimes it makes me feel kind of bad to be in this era of time when you look back 30, 40 years ago, how our parents and grandparents and uncles, and whether they was in the streets or whatever, they still were grounded in manhood. They still dealt with a set of rules and principles that may not have been divine to the masses of the people, but they were entrenched in their manhood. And the woman is, without question, has always been entrenched. She's always taking care of the children. She's always in the visiting room in the prisons. She's always down there begging for welfare. She always working two jobs. She's at Denny's at day, Walmart at night. You know, she got to pay this bill, got to pay that bill, and then, you know, sometimes out of utter desperation, some of y'all settle for the worst parts of us. You know, and it's sad that, you know, these things happen. I've always been a protector of women. Myself, Gerald, and y'all, we grew up together, and that's what we did in the community. You know, the stuff that's taking place now with these sisters, they beating these sisters up, you know, busting their brains and all that with pistols. That stuff was unheard of. And so this is why a lot of times it enrages me when I see these things taking place, because we weren't brought up like that. And all of you sisters have either had a father or uncle or cousin that y'all can always call on that will take care of everything and everybody if need be. And so we need to have that energy again, but to bring that male energy into the black home, to understand who the black woman is, to see her for who she is, allow her to have her own individuality and her own space, because it's her journey. It's her journey as well. You just been invited to share. That's it. You know, that's it. And that's why I can't stand the feminists that I don't need no man. All I need is my cucumber in my Bible, that type of shit. You know, it's infectious to our. And see, when the young girls hear that, you know, that make them want to go beyond and do some self-degrading acts to get the bag. And so you all, you know, y'all are beacons of hope and light. And that's just my humble opinion. Now, all the sisters that be on social media, I'm gonna be honest, are not beacons of hope and light. Not to me. Not to me. Not to me. And I have to be honest. And all these brothers that put these cliches up and always talking these strong affirmations and stuff up, I can smell that they're trying to bait queens. You know, and you know, those things have to be dealt with as well. We can't just turn away from that, because men don't do that. Men confront men. Men confront situations, you know, at all costs. You know, and so I take my hat off as always to you goddesses. Y'all are great. Don't let nobody tell you nothing different. Whatever your divine mission is, stick to it. Stand firmly entrenched in it. Entrenched in it. Don't let nobody rock it. That's why when I asked Sister Saw today, how's the husband? How's the family? You know, and she said, you know, he allows her to, you know, to do what she needs to do. You know, that's life sharing. That's sharing a journey with somebody, to allow them to bring the greatness out of an individual. You know, I love to see that. I love putting people on the platform and acknowledging people by their names, because we're great people. We are great people.
Yeah.
And so
we sure are. You know, and though it looks meek sometimes, there is a lot of great black love. You know, you just got to run into it. We just get bombarded. Society bombards us with our shortcomings. I noticed that. You know, you see how social media is so segregated. You know, all you see is black dysfunction most of the time. you know. And so that kind of helps weigh on the psyche. But when you get out or you get to know people and you move around, that's how you get to see for yourself on a broader, scale. I know it's out there because I know it, I'm it as well. But yes, it's definitely time to teach our younger women, and we got to do it with unconditional love, because nowadays you say the wrong thing, you're canceled. It's like you you got to be upfront, but as women, it's like we have to do it out of compassion, strong compassion, though, you know. And yeah, that's what I think. I think that when we have the opportunity to, and I would say, share ma'at, and by that I mean share. Uh, Let our conversation be of content, you know, of how we're living. I'm sure most of us, when we're dealing with other women, we are bonding, we're healing, we're talking about our journeys. And we're just going to have to continue that. But I see it ramping up, I see it ramping up because as things in the world start to tighten up more, and that it is, and I do mean our resources are going to be more stressed, and that hits right home for everyone. And so I can see moving forward, we're going to be very busy, with our feminine energy and masculine energy. We're going to be teaching on both ends, because we were talking the other day about what is a goddess. A goddess acknowledges, is looking at everyone as their, and I want to say child, as far as birth. You know what I mean? As far as look at humanity like you look at your children. You know what I'm saying? You show them love. You tell them the truth. You want nothing but the best for them. And so moving forward, I see that ramping up a lot, And so we're going to also need to debunk. We were talking about that before. We're going to need to de-stress. So we're going to have more healing sessions together. We're going to start out with the healing sessions, but the healers are going to have healer sessions, you know? And that's really just the only way to tackle this situation, because it is a situation, you know. The young ladies, they don't think that they are uh, acknowledged without the hair, the eyelashes, the showing of the body parts, the tattoos. Even though that's another subject, you know, you don't have to deface yourself. A lot of times that's what it is, you know, and we just have to show them that they are loved and they can love. They have the ability to, but they have to have good character. We got to talk about good character, morals, rules, what you won't do, what you shouldn't do. You know, we just have to keep it. We got to keep it real. It's too much pussyfooting around to me because of our society. But what goes on in my home and my family, I'm pretty much in control of that. I am the go-to person. I've established that. In my family, I'm the go-to person. Sometimes it's a lot, but I know how to de-stress. I know how to get some of that stuff off of me. But I'm also solution based. So by the time I'm de-stressing, we've already come up with a solution. Now all I can do is tell them the solution. They have to follow it, And once we establish that, if you don't follow it, in the end, you're only hurting yourself. when you hurt somebody else, you really hurting yourself. And so we gotta look at each other like that. So we gotta like teach sort of on that level. You know, try to do that as much as possible. But I do have boundaries and I do not let anybody break them. Um, and that has made my family strong, you know. Like they know not to come to me with no bull crap because they better not be out there doing no bull crap. You see? And it's always kind of always just been that way. My parents was like that. I had both my parents, and my father wasn't no joke. He was like Black Lightning. Y'all ever see that show? Like he's a real man. And
Yeah.
that nation, and I think that the lack of it because of our men being in the prison and this and that, that's a crucial part that we're missing. As women, they say that we can't fill that void, but I kind of beg to differ because I raised my boys by myself and they're real men. And it's only because I knew what a real man was. So I knew what to tell them. You know what I'm saying? So at some point, a woman has to see that, whether it's in a father figure, a brother figure, uh, uncle, or whatever. But like you said, a lot of us have been abused by our own family, and just got to work through that. But yeah,
Ashe.
Yes, indeed.
okay, for sure. Um, we have Sister Elaine Riddick in the chat, and she is the last comment she has. Don't forget to decolonize yourself so that you can help others. That's a fact. Um, definitely, we're all conscious, so we share conscious knowledge, and yeah, we have to share that with others also, and we have to show them what it is in real time. Most people, well, I don't take for granted that people know, because I'm always running into somebody that I'm figuring out don't really, not really knowing, just being real. We have a lot of our people that we got to start from the ground bases, so yeah, we got our work cut out, but I feel it's all good. It's something that needs to be done. What else as Black people are we doing besides trying to get our immediate families together, ourselves, and then our immediate families, and then you know branch out from there. But yeah, everybody has to take accountability for themselves. You know, it has a lot to do with a lot of our men not being taught by other men. They got to go to prison to learn or something like that. I can't tell you how many stories I've heard of men coming to being a man in prison. It's sort of like a rites of passage, and that's not fair. You know? But they also have to be conscious of it and stay there as out of those positions. You see?
Right. Or it could become the wrongs of
So we have
passage.
Mm-hmm.
absolutely we have to be firm. It's either prison or the
Fact.
streets in some sort of way.
The wrong of
I don't
that.
know. I kind of feel like
Absolutely.
the rites of passage is similar to the spiritual journey of unlearning everything that we've ever been taught. So, not just along the lines of assimilation, because we're coming from generations that had to assimilate. Like, I didn't know I was privileged at all because, I didn't know. I didn't know that Black people didn't have land because all the Black people around me had land. We just sometimes shopped at Walmart and, well, it was Kmart back then, and I wore LA Gear and Payless shoes, but I didn't know that ownership meant privilege in the Black community. And I didn't
Mm.
know that um, having a wide vocabulary meant anything. When I've been street level homeless, I've slept outside on the streets, and nobody ever believes that part of my journey. And nobody ever believes that I stayed in the hood for a long time, right? So it's like we have to give up what we think we know when it comes to interacting with each other, because we've all been dealt our hands, and we've all been dealt these hands that have been by design, because the elite actually plan for 50 to 100 years. So while we sit and we do a business plan, and we do our business plans for 3 to 5, and most people don't have enough willpower and discipline to sit still and even plan out 3 to 5 years of their life, the elite have planned 50 to 100 years. So at some point, we all came from some slave plantation. So our lives have been planned out 50 to 100 years. So we are always behind the 8 ball. And when it comes to separating our families and killing us off, as a culture, as a people, you know, it's it's already written 100 years into the future. So we got to do what we need to do right now. And if you try to lead your immediate family, even biblically, you'll be a stranger in your own land. This is about the bigger picture. This is about the community. And hopefully your family will catch on and jump on board, because they've been colonized in their minds. And some of them aren't willing to give it up. And it could look like, a daggone Mercedes is enough to have people stuck, unwilling to give up their falsehoods of security. Um, you don't even need a 6-figure income to be successful. You can go get food stamps and live off food stamps. Not saying to live off the government, but what I'm saying is it don't take all that. You can get you a bag of beans and some rice and some cornbread, and you can live and be okay with some water for at least a week. You can make that stretch. But we've been so conditioned to thinking that you need lobster and steak, and that's the only thing that you need. And people are unwilling to say this ain't right. People are unwilling to
Crab
talk about
legs.
brutality. People are unwilling to talk about these women getting raped. People are unwilling to talk about that jail in Georgia, that ICE detention center that had 170 Haitian women where they took their wombs out. If you take out the wombs of 170 Haitian women, that means 170 women can't produce, can't make babies. And people are unwilling to stand up and speak out on these atrocities because of what their family members might say. So, your immediate family may get it, they may not. My family don't get it. I speak up all the time, and they don't, they I got millionaires in the family. They won't send me $20 to feed my child if I needed it, because they think that I shouldn't be speaking out on some of these topics. So until you're willing to run the risk of being ostracized and criticized, I saw a Lauryn Hill interview where she said everybody wants to be used by God, but nobody wants to be humiliated. Until we're willing to be humiliated, we're not willing to stand up for Black love, because Black love ain't just swapping bodily fluids. Black love is standing up for that man or woman that's overlooked because you don't know their story. And just because it's not yours or it's not mine, we're all Black people, and we're all at different places in our lives. And we just got to be there for each other no matter what it looks like. And we got to take back our communities, and we got to build each other up. And sometimes I know I've been known in dating and relationships. I do some stuff that makes absolutely no sense to anybody but me. Shaka and I always, Shaka like, why that ninja? And I'm like, Shaka, I promise you, it makes sense for me. He's like, man, I got some brothers up here. You ain't have to choose. I'm like, Shaka, it's okay, but it's like, we just got to keep doing the work. And, we just got to keep doing the work on ourselves. And, sometimes as a woman, it's a gift to be able to love a man, a Black man, in a way that he's never been given love. So when I say struggle and love, that's what I mean. Like, there's Black men who have never been told you're handsome, you're worthy, There's black men who they see an attractive black woman and they've always been taught, oh, she out your league. She too intelligent for you. You stupid. So to be a woman and to be able to be generous enough to just give that gift, I'm coming in a minute, of just loving unconditionally, you know, it's taken some personal growth on my own. But it's a gift for us to just be able to love the black man and meet him where he at, because he already dealing with society beating him down. We don't have to be a part of the problem. So
I believe self-love is
That's very
essential.
true. Very true.
Yeah, you have to love self. But I wanted to hit on, I know that this platform was divinely orchestrated because I'm also seeing Sister Elaine's remarks, and I was listening to Jashaka, and each thought was the same thing that I was about to say or to comment. That's why I know that we are on a divine order. That the Holocaust, when Shaka said the Holocaust of slavery and how it has affected the DNA, it traveled through. So we have been given the divine order to reach out by using this platform or having events to bring about that self love. So if you love self, then you will be able to heal self, because that comes through loving self because you want to seek healing. And therefore, it will become viral in the community as we heal ourselves, as we know ourselves, and it becomes a viral when we go to the next one, especially when we use that intuitive gifts that we have, that we can see when someone is dealing with some things. All of us have, on one degree or another. We all
Hmm.
have dealt with some type of something in our lives journey. So we have to reach to
Hmm.
one another and to be that sacred space to one another. So that caused that healing effect, that domino effect of healing, and that will cause that love to grow in the community that was taken away by many ways. The disparity in the Holocaust of slavery, our people were pulled apart, beaten. You know, you have a husband today and he's sold tomorrow. You have a children here today and they sold off tomorrow. It was constructed to destroy the black family. So what we're doing, as Sister Elaine saying, is reconstruct, and we are the building blocks of that reconstruction. So we have to reach out to the community, have events, have
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm ready, man. This summer it's on. We're doing something. Something with an S.
So let
We're gonna do a couple of somethings.
teaching them self-love.
Yes, absolutely. It's so many ways we can do that too. So many ways. And my thing is, I know I'm congregated with the women, but I actually work good with young men, you know, like my sons. Like I really value our relationships. Like they really do listen to me, but not listen, but take my advice because my advice makes sense to them, and they know I never tell them nothing wrong. You know,
right.
I got this thing for brothers. I really do love my black brothers. That's a fact. It's nothing like the black man. It's nothing like the black woman. It's nothing like our black men. They got to know their worth. A lot of them don't. Like Sister
And
Shantae
a lot of
said.
them don't. These young girls need to be taught how to be women. They're not being taught because their whole role model is either dressing like they are or wearing the latest weave down to their toes, or and guys, I talk to several men, they don't even find that attractive. The hair,
Exactly.
after a while, it begins to smell. Then you got these eyelashes that look like they bird sitting on your face. So how was that even
Hmm.
attractive? So most of the men that I've talked to, they don't even find that attractive. So what are you doing all that for? You doing it
Yeah,
to outshine another sister because you want to look better than the other sister. And that's the entrapment of these reality shows. Have the biggest
Right.
butt, the biggest
that,
boobs. So
yes.
once you get old, When you get
They
60 or
fight the
70 years
mess.
old, you're gonna have big boobs and a big butt. You're gonna look crazy. So they
Now
don't
they're
think
getting
of
all the
those things
implants.
into consideration. Yes,
Mm-hmm.
Well,
and they are
this part,
killing the sisters. They're killing because after a
Yes.
while, it's a slow leakage of poison in your
Mm-hmm.
bloodstream. So all of
Yes.
it is ridiculous.
Yep.
It's so that because our self-image has been pulled down, beaten up, raped, molested, whatever that the sisters have done or had been dealing with, so we have low self-esteem. So we have to teach the young ones how to look beautiful without showing their cleavage, without showing how their behind is shaped. We have to teach them all over again. We have to tear down their sense of understanding of what they think a woman's supposed to look like, and reconstruct on what a woman's supposed to look like.
but
Yes.
I want
From
to
the
disagree
basic.
on this topic, and I'm disagreeing because 20 years ago I was the girl with the long weaves down to my back and the eyelashes, and it wasn't because of low self-esteem. It was because I got tired of society and what that looked like. And maybe it was self-esteem. It was a lack of self. Like I can definitely say I had a lack of self-knowledge and awareness. But I left. I made the choice to leave corporate America, working in mergers and acquisitions, because I was the one black. I started working for an insurance company before I had my degree, and licensed in 5 states in insurance. And I was working in mergers and acquisitions while getting my degree. And and my white counterparts, when you're attractive, and this isn't to be braggadocious or anything, but if society says this is what is deemed attractive, right? So when you're deemed attractive and you're working, you're that one black person in that department, and your numbers are through the roof, and you're the youngest person because you got to work twice as hard. You got to show up at work 30 minutes early. You got to stay 30 minutes late. You got to show up on Saturdays. You got to jump through all of these hoops. And you got that one white woman who every single thing you do, she's reporting it to the company president or to the vice president, and you're constantly being called in the office. But your numbers are through the roof, and you're making all the money, and you're driving that car, and you're living the good life, blah, 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 blah. But it's hell. And all you trying to do is go to work and pay your bills. You ain't doing nothing. You ain't selling your body. You ain't prostituting. You ain't doing none of that. So I gave that up, and I went and waitressed, not dance. I waitressed in the strip clubs because I knew that I could make the same amount of money and I could keep my lifestyle, which was to finish college and was to travel. Because back then they say, oh, you want to know some stuff, you need to travel more. Because around my 20s, I put myself on this journey of like I felt real empty. So I can't say it was self-esteem, but it was lack of self-knowledge, and it was lack of feeling like I had a disconnect from the community. Like I wanted to be more
Queendom.
engaged. So
Like
they
a
tell
lack
you
of knowing the queen in you. Yeah. I get
not
it.
even that. Like I knew like I had boundaries. I wasn't sleeping with a bunch of people. It wasn't none of
Right.
that. It
Right.
but it was like um I'd never lived in the projects, but I was ghetto. Like I'll cuss you out. They might send Big Keisha. Like I done had a couple of aggravated assault charges, so I might fight, and I might have somebody. You jump me, we gonna jump you. So I could hold my own, but and all of my circle was black. But we were black people who came from the same kind of setting where we had things, or some people might have grew up in a project. Like my dad sold drugs at some point, and my mom built planes for Gulfstream. So I grew up with things, but I grew up being unapologetically black. I ain't have to take no stuff from no white people. So I wasn't about to take it. When 5 girls come to jump me, then we gonna all fight. So I grew up having to defend myself, but always being in my books and studying. And so I remember having my big natural afro puff and working my first corporate radio job because I worked for a corporate radio station. And my black manager, now we just dealt with the white people on the job and sexual harassment. and harassing me, going to the president and vice president. Now my black manager might send me home and I'm wearing suits to work. I ain't wearing hoochie mama gear. I'm wearing skirts that come past my knee, and she might send me home, your butt look too big in that skirt. You know, and she set me up. I ended up, that was my first time getting fired from a job. She set me up and lied and said that I stole some money that I did not steal, and it ruined my reputation. Like, and it was my black manager. And she was like, the white people hired me when I had my big natural afro. She was like, you ain't gonna make no sales. She started pulling my account. She was like, because it was a hip hop station, it was a big hip hop station that I worked for. And she was like, if you want me to give you back these accounts, you need to get, you need to get a perm, because I don't know where you're going at with that nappy hair. Like, this is when I didn't know that I could make it in life without, uh, like, being a slave to money. This is when I was a slave to money, because um, having the debt of student loans and feeling like, how can I take care of my child, and how can I make the car note, all of that stuff. How can I keep a roof over my head? When you start losing some things, and when you start realizing that money is just money, like, you don't even need it, it's made up. um that's when you get some freedom. And money is actually the worst slave master that there is to serve, because people will sell their souls for the taste of fame and stardom and wealth. And just because you get like these billionaires, we had that conversation. They're rich. They're not wealthy, because the elitists, they don't exchange money. They all on credit. They marry these little black rappers because they show up with a duffel bag of cash. They don't have access to cash because they don't even understand half of the language to get cash. They understand credit. Their money is tied up in corporations, and unless they sell their corporations, they have no access to it. So they have to marry our little black rappers carrying their duffel bags of cash to be able to buy these Louis Vuittons and Gucci bags. So it's a whole big conversation, but I me working in clubs, me wearing my weaves and my lashes and stuff, I think some of it was rebellion, but I found freedom in working in clubs. If I was younger, even with knowing what I know, the only thing I'll say is you take on some spirits. You do take on some spirits. That energy is that of the devil, because you see people, the same men who say to you, "Oh, I don't see why they're getting these shots." You see them same men in the club showing you their beautiful women, their beautiful families, and you see them doing some of the nastiest stuff with some of the nastiest people, renting out those VIPs. You see all types of stuff from your corporate owners. I'll just say this and let it go. I had a wealthy black lawyer here in Atlanta, um, who lived in like a 3-story house with an elevator. And he offered me, I hadn't had any children. He offered me $75,000 a year to have his child, plus child support and take care of the child and everything else. Like, as an offer, he wanted me to be his wife. And I noticed, and I declined, but I noticed that he only got dances from the girls that looked like children. Like, they didn't have any hips. They had these huge fake breasts. Like, that was his thing. He only wanted the dancers that had these undeveloped bodies. So anytime you're that successful and you got to pay somebody to be your wife and to have your child, but you only want to get dances from dancers who look like children, I wouldn't be surprised if he out there touching somebody's child. Or you watch these, and you got to remember, these men, they get these wives that meet whatever society says they need to have, or their family says they need to have. You grow up in a conscious Muslim family, you ain't gonna bring home a light-skinned, long-haired, weave-having girl, but that might be your fantasy. So when you see the women with the lashes and the weaves, all it's doing is, only thing you doing is selling fantasy. Because a lot of men, they might not say it, but a lot of them like that as their fantasy. When you show up with your leather skirt and your 4-inch heels, it's just fantasy. And I used to sell fantasy quite well, and I paid all my bills quite well on it. And I didn't have anything going on with my self-esteem. I had something going on with my morality, but nothing with my self-esteem.
Well, I like to say a little something according to what you both said. I would agree with Shantae said, and I would disagree. And I could agree with Mother Earth, and I can disagree. Now, watching as I was being reared by a child, and we all have that idol that we look at, is mom and dad. Now, my mother was a natural woman. She didn't wear no makeup. She didn't wear fake hair. She didn't even wear jewelry. And I thought she was maybe one of the most beautiful women I ever seen. So I'm not stuck up. I don't go for the fantasy of the woman that has to have all the makeup on her face. My mother used to call it war paint. So when you're seeing a woman wearing makeup on their face, what's underneath? What is she portraying? What is she hiding from? Do she have low self-esteem? That's the things that I'm gonna encounter with when I see it, that or the things I'm gonna think about when I see it. My thing of it is that I like a natural woman. And I'm not gonna tell you all that I never dated a Caucasian woman, because I had, because we was thought coming up, as Shantae said, we liked the little girls with the long hair. We was all tricked into that. But man, I wouldn't change a sister. I wouldn't care if you had nappy hair, your hair was sticking straight up. As long as your personality showed and dictate the beauty that's within, because the beauty outside is going to show with the beauty within. But when we start looking at it and saying, you have to have that one to be made up, and that woman, to me, that's a flaw. That's not somebody that I want to deal with, because I'm gonna think of them like the circus. You know how they say we took the pimps from uptown and now they in the neighborhood. We took the clowns from the circus and now they in the neighborhood. I don't want to see that. I want to see the natural woman, because as you say, if we fixing ourselves up, if the woman fixing herself up and the male having some inventory of himself, we got to know what's real and what's an illusion. So my way of
eventually find out.
You say what now?
I said
What
they
did you say?
eventually find out. One of the days the makeup comes off on it after they wake up and look at each other or whatever the next day.
And I'm gonna say this too. I've never forgotten my uncle gave my mother a card for her birthday. And this woman on the card was gorgeous. I mean, extremely gorgeous. But when you open up the card, the woman has taken off her fake leg, all the makeup, her wig, and everything. She look atrocious. Now, do you want to find that in the club? No, I don't. No, I don't want to be nowhere near that. I want the woman that I'm gonna see that's gonna be natural. That's gonna say the things that she gonna say. The lipstick. I'd like to know this too. I know women put Vaseline on our lips when they get dry. What's the lipstick for? And I see a lot of you all, you look natural. I see the essence and the beauty every time I look at one of y'all. Like Shaka said, in our neighborhoods, we wasn't attracted to that. I mean, because if you get attracted to that, what else are you attracted to? As you said, Shantae, what else are you attracted to? So basically, give me the natural Black woman. And that woman is the most beautiful woman on earth, because everybody trying to emulate you all. I don't care about the contours of the woman or whatever have you, because your personality is going to dictate what type of woman you really are. So when we start saying this is the way it should be, and this is the way it should be, and Mother Earth had a point. I don't even want to see a woman twerking, shaking her hot pies, all of that old type of stuff, exploiting herself to go out with cleavage showing and everything. Because if you dress like that, say what else you capable of doing. So I don't fantasize over that. I would rather walk through a mall where I'm not walking them in a chair, But if I was to roll through the mall, I'd rather see that woman. I'd rather see that woman looking like a beatnik. Have a hat on, turned around backwards, or have it on frontwards, hair hanging out in the back, sweatsuit on, and whatever have you. Because guess what? That woman later, you could take her out of that sweatsuit, and that's still beauty. Because she's not hiding anything. She don't have no makeup on. You know how women run out to the store, and that kind of, I'm kind of drawn back by that. When you see a woman put on all the makeup and say, "Where you going? You going out?" "No, I'm going to the store." For what? What's all the makeup and everything for? What are you making yourself up for? For who? You know, it's not a beauty contest. Because I'm gonna say this: every man look at every other woman. There's a man for every woman that's here on earth. So it don't matter what you look like. If a man gonna choose you regardless. So as I said, me personally, don't give me no woman with no makeup, because I'm not gonna think she real.
What I said wasn't intended to be received as wearing makeup as having low self-esteem. I wear makeup, but I don't wear the foundation because I don't need to, because I take care of my skin. I try to. Because I don't disapprove of making yourself feel amazing. I don't disapprove with that. Only thing that I was saying is that the youth today, they don't have much of a role model to show them how to be women. What they have in the house is women who's wearing the weaves. I'm not against weaves. Before I grew my locks, I used to wear a weave, okay? So I'm not against that, but I also taught my daughters how to keep their hair clean. I taught my daughters how to take care of themselves during a menstrual cycle. They didn't have to teach themselves that. I taught my daughters that. So how many households have parents who that are sober enough or not being in competition wearing the weaves or going out there dressing like them? How many homes have that proper director in the home, or that overseer, or that person to see and construct how they supposed to be as women? Not many. Because you got grandma raising babies now, and grandma tired. Grandma don't work. Grandma working 2 jobs, and she's raising her daughter's 4 children. So how can she show that young lady how to be a young lady? Because now you got the streets teaching them, and the streets is not going to teach them how to wear their skirts appropriately, or wear their clothes appropriately, or how to dress with their hair. The street is going to teach them the street. So that's not what I'm saying. I didn't say wearing weaves or wearing makeup shows low self-esteem, because I do. I wear makeup. I might wear a little lip gloss, put a little eyeshadow on, and go ahead and put my locks up and look at myself in the mirror and admire myself and saying, "Look, you look good." That's me.
That's right.
That's me. Because my mother taught me that I am beautiful, whether I have my face painted or not. I'm beautiful. So how many young ladies are hearing you're beautiful? How many young ladies saying that you don't have to dress that way to show how beautiful you are? Turn around, look in the mirror. That's beauty, right. I see. How many homes are doing that? So that's why I was saying that we have been given the divine assignment to introduce to these young ladies and to introduce to these young men that you ain't got to wear your pants down, and give them the history of where that pants hanging low come from. Tell them, because they don't know.
That's right.
They don't have someone in the homes to tell them that they don't have to go out here and shoot someone. If y'all got to fight, okay, ball up your fist and fight. Remember, we used to scrap in the streets? I might pick up a bottle and crack you in your head if I feel like you're trying to get the best of me, but I'm going to come up there
undefeated.
I'm swinging.
I was a pro at throwing down. Stop playing.
But undefeated now in my hood. What they hearing in the house is, if somebody put their hands on you, hear this gun, shoot them. Most of these kids out here don't know how to fight. They know how to shoot though.
Been taught,
as that daggone gun is, they know how to shoot. They not shown how to fight because I know that they fight in tribes. But they showed them how to properly fight and then get up the next day and make them say, handshake.
Right.
Yeah, that's right.
So we need these brothers. We need these sisters, the ones that are conscious to go into the homes and teach these children. You gotta teach the parents too. Why not have parenting classes in the Pan-African organizations? They need parenting classes.
That's right.
I had my first child when I was 17 years old. I didn't know what I was doing. I thought I'd breastfeed them and give them the bottle too. I didn't know whether you give one or the other. Because there was no one to teach me, because my mother passed away when I was 17 years old. And 9 months later, here I come with a baby. My mother raised me. My father left my mother when I was 5 years old. My mom became a victim. All she did was work because now she didn't know how to trust another man. Walking through her life, never healing from a broken heart. How many broken hearts in the home? How many of us are willing to go to a woman who we knew who was damaged by a man and we speak into her spirit?
Right.
So we have a lot of work to do because there's a lot of homes that are hurting. And we need, that's right, Sister Elaine, we need parenting classes in the Black community to teach them how to be parents. Because they don't know.
I taught a parenting class for the Superior Court of DC.
Conversate with your wife and not slap your wife across the room because you can't get your thought out because you don't have the verbiage to express how you supposed to act between your wife and your family. We need parenting classes. We need fathers. We need husbands to just bring them in and say, this is how you treat your wife. Sister, this is how you treat your husband. Listen to your husband when your husband is hurting. Maybe your husband don't feel like saying that. Just hug them. They don't know. So we got to go out there in the highway, the hedges, and compel them.
You just made me up right here. Okay. Yes, indeed. That's going to be some of the first things we're going to do is have these classes, and be able to have it online and in person. I'm gonna hook up that. But
I used to teach a parenting skill classes for the Superior Court of Washington D.C.
Great. You can help us with some of our curriculum
for abusive parents. So
Domestic,
I know how they go, and also for kids that was coming out of the judicial system. So
great. We definitely gonna be tapping in.
But what I was saying though, Mother Earth, was that I was just saying what my choice is. I can't say what other people's choices are. Just my
everybody
choice.
had a choice.
That's my choice. Like I said, and I grew up like me and Shaka talk too. Like everybody say, we need some therapy. We need some therapy because I was affected later in life instead of young. I know what it's like to sleep out on the streets and try sleeping on the streets on crutches and braces, sleeping in vacant apartments or sleeping in vacant cars or being strung out on drugs. I've been that route in my condition before things came along. So I know what the struggle is like, and that's why I say that's the only reason why I'm around. Is because God has me and the ancestors have been using me for a reason, instrumentally. Whatever tool I have to be that.
That's Black love, brother.
Yeah,
that's taking your journey and you taking your journey. See, you came from your journey and you were able to survive from your journey, so you can go ahead and reach in the hole and pull another brother out. Just like we're sitting on here, we're reaching out in a hole, telling the sister that you can be.
That's right.
You can be whole.
That's right.
They need us to get that information out there because people just don't know.
They don't.
They just don't know.
There's a lot of people that know. It's a lot of young ladies I'm seeing lately that need to be taught basic hygiene, feminine hygiene. You know.
They don't know.
Yes, absolutely. Mm-hmm.
They don't know.
Young men too. Young men too. Yeah, absolutely. So we got our work cut out for us. I see we reaching the 2 hour mark. Yes, we reaching the 2 hour mark. Does anybody have any last remarks? We have Sister Elaine Riddick in the chat. She said we have the Elaine Riddick's Sister Sanctuary Shelter for our women. That's okay. So you have that resource, Sister Sanctuary. That's wonderful. We'll definitely be tapping in with you on that. I'll be taking notes. When I replay this, I'm going to take some notes because we said a lot of good stuff tonight, and I'm going to take notes and put it together, and we're going to branch off and do some workshops or something like that. Some lives, because I really like the idea of the pod class, because this is actually a class. Someone can watch this and learn a whole hell of a lot, right?
Oh yeah.
So I think we're gonna move forward and continue to do this, but it'll be in a more structured way. But yeah, absolutely. The healing was number one. Being honest with each other, taking accountability, knowing our worth, compassion to one another, treat each other better, right? You know, so much. Even in the midst, because like as Black people, we go through a lot. We got a lot of stress, you know, and it's just basic life stress, keeping the lights on, food, get to work, you know, everything. And so I also want to commend us because even in our struggle, we're waking up every day. You know, we're going to continue to wake up, and we just have to help each other. And as they say, some say keep the faith, but I'll say just spread the art, you know, which is spread what is the way, because a lot of people don't know. Like our people, when they gave us the Bible, they had the 10 Commandments. Well, if you didn't know nothing else, everybody knew thou shalt not do this and thou shalt not do that. Like we've all had that pretty much ingrained in us. We can go off the dome with that. But there's a lot more, right? Because in the beginning, it was 42 laws of confession. So there's a lot more, you know, we had, because I actually did write a document that said the 23 laws, because I do Tonya 23, and so I came up with 23 of them. And they were just like, yeah, they were laws. Because I was thinking, if I was head of a town, I would have police force because I had rules. And as a community, those that didn't follow the rules, as a community, we dealt with them. You know, we didn't kill them and be torturous or anything. But by the time we got done with them, they understood, well, they got to get up out the town. So boundaries, that's on the list. Boundaries, rules. Because when you got self-love, you have some rules for yourself. Because there's a lot of things I will not do, even in the opportunity. So we got to teach that. You know, is there anything you won't do? And you got the tattoos, you got the lashes, you got the hair, you got the BBL, you got the breast assist. Is there anything you won't do? I don't trust you as a friend because I know there's too much room for you to do me in with all of that. And it is a personality thing, a character thing. We're all characters, but you gotta play the right part. And it just is what it is, you know? And moving forward, the way time and the way society is moving, just the way the whole vibe is going. Oh yeah, you gonna get down or you gonna come up. It's not gonna be much in between. As they say, get down or lay down. Whichever way, we're gonna be forced to do what we have to do, or we're gonna suffer. And me personally, I'm not into suffering, you know, because they're not giving us shit. We have to get it ourselves, and we can't get it playing games with one another. It just is not going to work. It doesn't work cosmically, and it doesn't work physically, you know? And so on that note, I'll let you guys say your closing remarks.
Well, I'm getting ready to go on in about 5 minutes on my live.
I'm coming down. I'm here in about 10.
Okay.
I'm up here every time I get online, y'all. I have a confession. Every time I get online, I be starving. It's just something. It's just a thing. Every time I get on my computer, I be starving. When I do like a podcast, because if I'm just doing work, you know, I got my little trail mixed snacks or whatever. But yeah, so it's something.
It's best to do. It's best to do your lives and do your podcast on an empty stomach. That's just a period of fasting, so you can have more clarity. Because I haven't made anything all day.
Absolutely.
So
alertness,
you know,
too.
especially when I'm doing the live, I don't, you know, I wait. Now after I do this live, I'm gonna tear some shit up. Period.
I know that's right. Yeah, I like eating at night for some reason. I usually fast during the day. If I might get some fruit or a smoothie or something like that, but it's really nothing heavy during the day. I like to eat before I go to sleep. You know, I stay up a little bit, digest my food, and then that's it. So I literally been on like one real meal a day. I'll snack here, have my smoothie and this and that, the protein. But yeah, I've been chilling. It's just the energy, you know. I'm not into gorging myself and feeling overstuffed and whatnot. Yeah.
But have you ever tried Shilajit?
Say it again.
Shilajit. It comes. It's
Shilajit?
like a Shilajit. Yeah, it's like looks like tar. Comes in a little jar with. They come with these little like small popsicle sticks, and you just dip it in there and put it in hot water, like anywhere from 2 to 6 ounces of hot water, and it comes out of the Himalayas. It's pure, and it gives you energy. And it does.
Wow.
It has so many nutrients and vitamins and everything in it. You know, it's really energetic. It burns fat, but it gives you energy at the same time. It cleans the system out. And with that mullein tea and salsa, you know, when you mix that concoction up.
I drink both of those, but I definitely want to try some of that. So we'll be talking. I have this little honey. It's really expensive, but it's just like the same concept. It comes with a little dipping spoon, but it's stingless honey. And I guess that is a certain bee that doesn't have a stinger or something like that, and it makes the honey, and it's supposed to be really medicinal. It's the one you put in your eyes. I actually did put it in my eyes for a couple of times, and yeah, I was when my eyes were going like this, I would see like a little black film move with it, kind of like, I don't know what the heck it was, but to me it was like, I guess film. It was like a film. Anyway, I did the honey and it was gone. I thought it was all these chemtrails they're spraying. I usually clean my nose out, cavities, my ears and everything when I come in the house. And if you notice, depending on where you walk, might get some little black soot because of all the stuff they spraying in the air is coming, we're breathing it in. It goes straight up our nose into our brain. So you gotta clean your cavities out and whatnot more often, and we don't get to clean our eyes, but we gotta get that wash to clean the eyes. Because we could wear a mask, but what about the eye part? That was crazy how they said. I told my husband, I said, why they want us to wear a mask and we got our eyes like this? Germs can creep through your eyes.
Skin. You can get past your skin. It was just a whole.
That was crazy. Yeah, absolutely. We'll be on that for a while. Yes, but so I'm gonna close this session for the night. It was very packed and very heavy. There's a birthday. Happy birthday!
Yeah, yes. It's her soul of return. It ain't ready.
Yeah, tell her I was gonna do. I had something planned.
Absolutely, Uncle Josh. Yeah.
I had something planned for her anyway. I did. That's why I didn't say anything, because I knew her soul return day was today. So when she tuned into the live tonight, I will acknowledge that.
Yes, that's awesome. And we also Sister Elaine Riddick's birthday, January 21st. Okay.
Right. In closing, I would say that I enjoyed my building with you goddesses, and I'm looking forward to building in the future.
Absolutely.
We're definitely gonna be tapping in.
Okay.
If nothing changes. So things have to start changing.
Yes.
That's right.
Absolutely.
And it's for us to be that director of change. Say what?
Yes, change comes with movement.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Determination and dedication.
Yes, absolutely. And we are all dedicated. I can all see, we all got a love for our people. We all love our people.
Right.
So
that's right.
Yeah, and that's what we should do. You have those that say, oh, just worry about yourself. No, okay. No, you can't do that.
We did it in a little bit of a selfish way. We became conscious of ourselves.
Yes.
And when we became conscious of ourselves, then they don't want to deal with us at all.
Yeah.
They don't want you passing on conscious thought.
Right. They don't have a choice. They're going to get it one or the other.
They're going to get it. That's I am, one way or the other.
On a positive note, right?
That's right. No, and you know what? It don't matter that I could be by myself, because eventually somebody going to want to listen.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, you definitely don't have to be on the street corner shouting it out. You just move, because people are hurting everywhere. People need to know stuff everywhere. Just keep on moving. You're going to run into it. It's going to come to you on your path. That's how you know that's your journey also. Yes. Brother Sankofa.
Yes.
Did you say anything before we close out?
No, I just enjoy the build as always. It just energizes me and motivates me to go in even harder on my build, on my lives. And I enjoy y'all grace with y'all presence, y'all beauty, y'all energy, and we're gonna keep it moving.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. So on that note, everyone, peace. And Brother Sankofa is going to be live on Facebook. Come through. And yes, till the next time. Until next Sunday. Black love, y'all. Peace.
Black love. Peace.
2023 experience. Ashe.
Ashe.